This is Benjamin Gedan at the Wilson Center. Welcome back to the Argentina Project podcast, and allow me to welcome back Bill Schuette, my colleague here at the Wilson Center.
Hey, Ben, thank you for having me on the show again.
Absolutely. Bill, with everyone in Washington thinking about the FBI investigation of alleged collusion in the Trump campaign, we thought we would take a look at corruption investigations in Argentina and some pretty historic developments there of late. I speak, of course, of the vote in the lower house of the Argentine Congress last Wednesday to strip Julio De Vido, the former super minister of both Cristina Fernández de Kirchner and her husband and predecessor Nestor Kirchner, of his congressional immunity and his surrender to federal police shortly thereafter. He's now in prison for alleged corruption. We'll get into the details of those charges. The vote was fascinating, 176-0, a few votes over the required two-thirds supermajority, and it included 6 votes from the FPV party, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner's movement, as well as 26 votes of traditional Peronists. This was interesting on so many levels. Bill, what do you make of it?
Well, you're right. It is fascinating. You said it best when you said he was a super minister. He had such an expansive portfolio in both Nestor and Cristina Fernández de Kirchner's administration. He was, with Nestor in the beginning, and one of the most powerful men in all of Argentina. So this is a reversal of fortunes of epic proportions for him, from going from managing billions of dollars of public funds to perhaps being behind bars long term.
It's also, though, an investigation of epic proportions. I mean, we're talking about, 21 charges,
Exactly.
Fraud, embezzlement. I mean, it's an extraordinary set of allegations. He's not convicted yet, but it's not small change we're talking about here.
No, not at all. And when he was the Minister of Federal Planning, Public Investment, and Services, he saw over a lot of different projects, including this carbon mine, Rio Turbio, and that's kind of the focus of one of the embezzlement charges, but also regarding to purchases he used with federal funds are being investigated. It really is an investigation that matches his responsibilities in both administrations.
Ever since Cristina Fernández de Kirchner's movement lost the election in late 2015, there's been talk about how she might acquire immunity for herself, whether she would run for a seat in the Mercosur parliament or find some other method to protect herself from a similar fate. Well, lo and behold, she won a Senate seat in the October 22nd midterm election, and at the time we thought, okay, here she goes, just like former President Menem and others, that she would avoid prosecution forevermore. It doesn't seem so ironclad anymore, that parliamentary immunity, does it?
No, it doesn't, but let's not rush overly towards it. I think while De Vido is a high-profile case, Fernández de Kirchner even more so. I think it would take more than just the current investigation to have her be stripped of her immunity. I think you'd need to see something more concrete in the Fernández de Kirchner case, but it does show that congressional immunity is not what it once was. The precedent has been broken. It is now not as ironclad as you said as we may have previously imagined.
Is this a victory for the rule of law in Argentina, or is this political retribution?
Well, that's an interesting point that Ernesto Calvo recently brought up at an Argentina Project event at the Wilson Center. So while it is important to make sure that no one is above the rule of law, there is the question of if these investigations, now that they're coming in after a change in administration, that we don't have a politicization of the judiciary within Argentina. And that's an issue that I think the Argentines will need to hash out, is you need to have both responsibility for all citizens, but you also don't want to have your investigations motivated by political means.
I agree. I mean, I think there's no parallels, frankly, to what we're seeing in Brazil, where you have investigations and convictions of those that wield currently a tremendous amount of political and economic power. In Argentina, once again, we see the targeting of folks from the last administration. Whether or not they deserve it, and it seems like they do, it certainly is not the same strides we're seeing in Brazil in terms of the rule of law. It sounds like that's your view as well.
I would agree.
Bill, thanks so much.
Thank you, Ben.